John, we're going to have to take a break real quick. 447-5495 is our number, 447 KIXL. When we get back, we'll talk more about this educational system that is to be put in place by Bill Clinton and Al Gore and possibly paid for with your tax dollars. And we'll talk more about that book that Al Gore wrote, Earth in the Balance, Ecology and the Human Spirit. Very, very interesting. Stay tuned. More Direct Line on the way.
All I want to do is let you introduce me like you do at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
And we're going to do this just so we have something to plug in there on KIXL.
Sure.
On that tape. Okay.
Okay.
You can just do the intro like you do it. However you would do
I'll
me.
just go right through it.
And I'll just.
We're rolling.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Direct Line. It's 4:06. I'm Colin Lambert, and we thank you for joining us. Our phone lines are open at 447 KIXL 447-5495, and I'm excited this hour because we have a gentleman who we talked with last year about this time, and we're going to be talking about some things that are very important, including homeless here in Austin, and we're going to be talking about Operation Warm Heart. Randy Willis from ESA Ministries is our guest, and we are glad to have him joining us again. Randy, welcome.
Thank you, Colin. That's all we need. That's all we need.
That's it. He's quick, isn't he?
Yeah, he's sick.
Court to allow prayer at public school graduations, and we'll have more news to follow this. A ban on new asphalt plants within 2 miles of a school, preschool, daycare center, or subdivision was proposed today in Austin. State Representative Sherry Greenberg also questioned an operating permit being sought for a proposed hot mixed asphalt plant near Oak Hill. The successor to Hunt Energy Corporation has filed for Chapter 11. Johnson Southwest Incorporated has been the target of lawsuits in state and federal court over the use of seismic data. In March, Dallas County Commissioner John Wiley Price is going to jail. He received a 75-day sentence today in a criminal mischief case going back to a December protest. Then Price, who's black, demonstrated again outside a Dallas television station over its hiring practices. In sports, the 1990 Texas Pro Athlete of the Year is Rangers pitching ace Nolan Ryan. The award comes from the Texas Sports Writers Association. And the 12th man football program made famous by Texas A&M is following a former coach to Mississippi State. Coach Jackie Sherrill wants student volunteers to play on the Bulldogs kickoff team. And wonderful weather for tomorrow. We'll check on it next. A clear, cool night tonight in the Hill Country. The overnight low near 40. Tomorrow, a real beauty. Sunshine, a daytime high in the lower 70s with easy winds out of the southeast. Tomorrow night will go down to the upper 40s. Sunday, cloudy, a 20% chance of showers. Have a great weekend from KBVO, Fox 42.
This is a KBVO Fox 42 News Update.
Good evening, Central Texas. It's been an effective day for Allied forces in the Persian Gulf. For more, we go to Fox News.
Iraq says it's withdrawing. Tens of thousands surrender, but President Bush says it's not enough to stop the war.
He is not withdrawing.
His defeated forces are retreating. He is trying to claim victory in the midst of a rout.
Mr. Bush says
He is
Saddam
not.
Hussein is trying to save power and control. Allied troops continue to push north, meeting little opposition. Some Iraqi soldiers are stopping to fight as they flee Kuwait. But Allied military leaders say they are outflanking, outmaneuvering, and destroying them. Despite glowing reports, Allied officers warn the war is not over.
President Bush continues to get bipartisan backing from Capitol Hill. A Vermont senator says it'd be wrong to let Saddam save face by claiming some sort of victory. A congressman says there's never been a question that the U.S. would win, but the question is whether the U.S. will be able to restore stability to the Gulf region. The Pentagon says that might require keeping an increased military presence there. Reports about Allied battlefield successes didn't give Wall Street a boost. The Dow dropped 23 points in active trading, and oil prices ended higher, rising 43 cents to $18.37 per barrel. A Pentagon intelligence official says captured documents show the Iraqis were under orders to inflict as many casualties as possible in Kuwait and destroy the Emirates oil fields. At last report, about 500 oil field fires were still burning. Treasury Secretary Nicholas Brady told reporters in Washington today he expects the economy to get a boost from the conclusion of the war. He says a lot of business decisions have been put on hold because of the fighting. And the granddaddy of mail-order haberdasheries is ending a tradition. LL Bean says this summer it'll stop shipping its goods free of charge and add a charge of $3.50 to all shipments. And we'll have more updates to follow this.
This is a KBVO Fox 42 News Update.
Hello, Central Texas. I'm Cindy Brooks with this Monday's news. More than 10 people have been killed and hundreds of homes destroyed by what began as a brush fire in the hills above Oakland, California. Fires covered an estimated 1,500 acres, causing road closures and the evacuation of thousands of residents. Those evacuees may be able to go home soon. Firefighters have stopped the spread of the wildfire and expect to have it controlled soon. Another hat in the Democratic ring for president, former California Governor Jerry Brown is calling on America to throw the rascals out and put him in. Brown announced his candidacy at Philadelphia's Independence Hall today, saying that both political parties have placed their own interests above those of the people. The Bush administration is distancing itself from ex-Klansman David Duke. He's one of the two candidates in Louisiana's gubernatorial runoff election. The White House says Duke's claim to represent the Republican Party is outrageous. A federal appeals court has knocked down the government's ban on asbestos, saying that the EPA failed to consider its international implications. Opponents of the ban say it would hurt the U.S. and Canadian economies. On Wall Street, the Dow lost nearly 17 points today in moderate trading. Oil prices fell 10 cents to $24.04 per barrel. Officials in India say more than 300 bodies have been recovered following an earthquake near the country's border with Nepal and Tibet. 2,000 people are known to have been injured in that quake. On a lighter note, lottery enthusiasts might want to catch the next flight to Florida. The lotto jackpot has grown to an estimated $88 million. No one has matched numbers in 4 consecutive weeks. And leftover bread, beef, and pizza from the Persian Gulf War are going to schools across the country. One education official says school lunch programs need all the help they can get. Autopsy results released on the gunman who went on a killing rampage in Killeen. We'll have that story next with state and local news.
This is a KBVO News Headline.
Good evening. I'm Cindy Brooks in the KBVO newsroom. President Bush is in San Antonio to lead talks on international drug problems. Bush and leaders of several Latin American countries have 2 days of meetings planned to map out an updated strategy. Health officials say they cannot verify claims that dozens of students in Northeast Texas have been infected with the AIDS virus. Meanwhile, the counselor who made the claims has resigned. University of Houston President Marguerite Ross Barnett has died of cancer in a hospital in Hawaii. She was 49. The Supreme Court has decided that students who are sexually harassed at school may go to court to seek monetary damages. And a Star Trek exhibit is opening Friday at the Smithsonian's Air and Space Museum. The exhibit includes dozens of props from the TV series. Down to the mid-30s tonight. Tomorrow, another pretty day. That's the news from KBVO.
This is a KBVO News headline.
Good evening. I'm Cindy Brooks in the KBVO newsroom. It's the eve of Super Tuesday, and Texans will have one less choice among the major Democratic presidential hopefuls. Tom Harkin dropped out of the race this morning. Texans have had deep pockets for the presidential candidates this year. The state leads the nation in contributions. President Bush today signed legislation protecting the Flower Garden Bank reef southeast of Galveston. The bill also allows American cruise ships to offer gambling to their passengers. G-Tech, a Rhode Island company, has won the contract to run the state lottery. It says it'll hire about 500 people, 95% of them here in Texas. Old Joe must go. That's the opinion of the U.S. Surgeon General and the American Medical Association. Critics say the character appeals too much to the kids. It'll be cooler tonight, down into the mid-40s. Tomorrow's high near 60. That's the news from KBVO. Saddam Hussein is in power. On Wall Street, the stock market was mixed. The Dow lost 6.5 points in heavy trading. Oil prices ended higher, rising 30 cents to $19.16 per barrel. A man who apparently would have had a lot to say in the trial of Manuel Noriega is dead. Officials say there's no sign of foul play in the car crash that killed Ramon Navarro. He was supposed to be a key prosecution witness against Noriega. More delays for the Space Shuttle program. NASA is bringing Discovery back to the hangar to fix cracks in door hinges. That'll delay a scheduled March liftoff for months. And Marlon Brando's son, Christian, has been sentenced to 10 years in prison in the shooting death of his half-sister's lover. We'll have more news to follow this. The Texas Senate today adopted a resolution praising U.S. troops who rolled to victory over Iraq. It says the service people have given Americans a deep sense of pride not seen since VJ Day at